Every 18 years, 11 1/3 days, there's a series of eclipses. This series of 3 in a row came around 18 years, 11 1/3 days also. But this time there was a major eclipse that we went to in Siberia in 2008, and another really major eclipse, because it was the longest in that 18-year, 11 1/3 day series, in China in 2009. And so this Easter Island eclipse got a little orphaned. So we weren't thinking too much about it until the Chinese eclipse was over. And within seconds after the Chinese eclipse was over and we saw the glorious diamond ring that ended totality in China, I'm not the only one who at that moment started thinking about the next eclipse, which is the one we just had on Easter Island. Usually I make a reconnoitering trip and make all kinds of arrangements. And I had gone the year before the Siberian eclipse to Siberia, and then a little later to China to work on those 2 eclipses. But I actually didn't go myself to Easter Island. It was so expensive and so hard to get to, and I was busy last year with, after all, the Chinese eclipse. So I had to rely on my travel agent who went there and colleagues who went there and sent back reports. For the kinds of scientific observations I make at eclipses, we want to have our telescopes set up a few days in advance and aligned so that they track the sun across the sky very accurately. And that requires being on a place that's a real place with housing and a hotel. In French Polynesia, the eclipse path missed Tahiti. There were some atolls. People flew in the morning of the eclipse for the most part. Similarly, back in the Cook Islands, there were no other major places. Strange as it may seem, Easter Island was the major locale in the middle of the band of totality. We knew in advance what the overall weather would be in Easter Island. There's a meteorologist named Jay Anderson who has made a hobby out of eclipse weather. I'm actually writing a field guide to the atmosphere with him for the Houghton Mifflin Peterson Field Guide series. He has looked at cloud statistics that go back about 20 years at various locations, and he compiles statistics of clear and cloudy. We knew that on Easter Island there was a 50-50 chance because of this work. We knew that it was likely to be clearer on the leeward side of the mountains than on the windward side. So I wrote him and I said, Jay, all right, so here's the map. Which side is the leeward side? He said, oh, the wind shifts. So we couldn't really know in advance where on the island it would be clearer, and so with my need for electricity and other facilities, we really basically set up in the small town at the hotel for our logistic reasons. The main problem for this eclipse, as it is for many eclipses, is the weather. Only very rarely do we know days or even a day in advance that it's going to be clear. And here, we really didn't know. We knew the weather forecast was going to be 50-50. Last year in China, it was also 50-50 for that long eclipse, and we wound up seeing the eclipse kind of 50% well because we were looking through clouds all the time. This time we wound up with 50% of clouds in the sky, and very fortunately for us, the sky was completely clear around the sun, so we had a fantastic view of the eclipse. But the day before, it just poured rain. And the day before that, it rained part of the day where we were a few miles away, and I drove back to the hotel, and all of a sudden went through a demarcation line between heavy rain and clear sun. So the main point is to worry about the weather and try to get set up and aligned during the clear periods.